We're here for a compliance hearing today, and we are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming and I'm recording to the Zoom cloud. I don't have a court reporter today. All right, we'll take announcements.
Good morning, Your Honor. Eugene Graff and Kendra Castillo Bates, present, ready to proceed on behalf of the department.
Lorraine Lucero on behalf of the mother, Heather Woods, Your Honor. I'm present and ready. I can't see her on the screen, but I believe she is here.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children.
Okay, Rachel's telling me that my connection was a little choppy. Give me just a second and I'm gonna try something real quick, see if we can't fix that.
Okay.
All right, we'll see if this is any better. Ms. Katie, you can let me know. Okay then, who's gonna give us the update this morning?
We could have Ms. Castillo Bates do the honors, Your Honor.
Absolutely. All right, Ms. Bates, if you'll unmute for us.
Okay, so as far as updates, Heather just started her services. She's about halfway through the program with daily recovery. She's completed 4 education classes through the Parenting Through Padre program. She is doing her counseling through Recovery with Melissa Lawson. She's completed about 2 sessions with her. And that, as far as the screenings go, she's been screening negative. The kids are doing well. I don't have any current concerns at this time. She's been very cooperative. I've had no issues. And she has completed the rational behavior training. I forgot to say that. She has completed that already as well.
Okay, good. And we've made quite a bit of progress since our last hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Lucero, anything to report?
I don't have anything new to report, Your Honor. Unless my client, I see that she is on, if there's anything she'd like to add, but I don't have anything to add myself.
Sure. Ms. Woods, is there anything you want to talk about today? Either tell us or any questions you may have?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right. Sounds like everything's going really well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I got to meet with the kids at their respective schools. They seem to be doing great. The reports are great. So I've got no concerns at this point.
All right. Very good. All right. So, Ms. Woods, let me just kind of explain to you what's going to happen. So for today, I'm going to continue the services as you have agreed to do. And we are going to set a next hearing, a compliance hearing for June 3rd of 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. But you are off to, a very good start on things. And it may be that you may be completed with everything before that hearing date. If so, and everything's going well, they'll present me with an order to dismiss the case before then. So, it's certainly possible for you to complete and do everything, and it sounds like you're well on your way. So I appreciate your cooperation, and let us know if there's anything that we can do to help, or if you have questions about anything.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then I'll continue the services as previously ordered, and I'll see everybody back June 3rd on a 9 o'clock docket, unless we're done by then.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a very good day.
You too, thanks.
We are here today on a compliance hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming and I'm recording to the Zoom cloud. I don't have a reporter today. If anybody needs a copy, let us know and we'll make it available. All right, we'll take announcements.
Morning, Your Honor. Gene Graff and Liliana Ariza, present and ready to proceed on behalf of the department.
Natalie Archer, I represent the mother, April Montes, and we're both ready and present.
Your Honor, I'm Tate Eldridge. I represent the father, Pablo Zamora. We're both present, ready.
Kenner Araujo on behalf of the children, present, ready.
All right, thank you. All right, then who's going to give us the update this morning?
That would be Ms. Ariza.
All right, Ms. Ariza, you'll unmute for us.
Good morning.
Morning.
So with the compliance hearing, or with how I've worked with the family, starting off with April. April has been very compliant. She's been working services fairly well. She's on top of everything. Her communication is very well. She's been letting me know every time she's going to all of her services. My only issue right now with April is a lot of behavioral changes. I haven't seen major progress in her behaviors. She does tend to lash out here and there. Something she's currently working on, I've gotten in contact with her counselor, and they are working towards her being able to cope with stress, with some anger that she has. So we're kind of hoping to work towards that. There's also issues with her breaking safety plans right now. We've been getting multiple reports that she is, having contact with her children outside of CPS. As of right now, we are looking towards her having unsupervised contact with her children 4 hours a week. We're hoping to get that safety plan signed today. Other than that, there's also 2 other safety plans that we currently have, and she's refused to sign those. She did say she was going to talk to her attorney before she signs those safety plans. Again, it's child safety, and it has to do with the court orders as well. So I'm kind of, waiting on that with her. And then as far as Pablo, I haven't seen any major, also no negative progress, but also not positive either. He's kind of remained the same. He has completed his counseling. His counselor discharged him after his 2nd session. So he didn't go through the full 6 because she didn't think he needed to address anything more. He is doing his parenting class. And with Pablo, he is not very compliant with communicating with me. He hasn't, I have to kind of ask him, get it out of him for him to tell me where he's at with his services, how much he's completed. So no communication with Pablo, really anything. And there are concerns that he is allowing contact between Isabella and April. It is confirmed that he did confirm that he is allowing Isabella to message April, through messages. I don't know so much about Oleana, but there are still suspicions that he is allowing Oleana to see April as well. And then the children, they're doing very well. Isabella has changed a little bit. She's kind of shut down on me, and she has made a few comments that, she did confirm that she is talking to her mom every day. She did tell me that. Other than that, she's doing well. School, there was an issue with her that she was having suicidal thoughts, and Pablo failed to inform me about it. April was the one who told me. We addressed that. I reached out to her school counselor and her counselor, Melissa Lawson, and we've got that situated and addressed. But she is, shutting down on me, and she's got some grades she needs to improve on. Pablo did say he was going to go to the school to get that situated. As of right now, he has not told me if he's gone to speak to her teachers about that. But I know that that's a concern right now with Isabella. Other than that, the children are doing great.
All right. Well, everybody was in agreement with the safety plan about placement of the children and contact with mother. So Ms. Montes, you understand it's kind of important to play by the rules. Ms. Montes, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, I said yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Can I
The
also,
reason is there's a process for all this, and we were wanting to try to therapeutically work on some things, particularly with Isabella and you, and if everybody just does an end run around that, it makes it kind of difficult and a little harder, and it could take longer. So I just encourage you to kind of follow the advice of the experts and the counselors and therapists and everybody, and, you know, probably we'll get through this at a faster pace.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Archer?
I was wondering, Ms. Rosa, if you could get me any of the plans that you're wanting her to sign. Could you email those to me? Any of the new safety plans?
Yes, ma'am. I'll get those emailed to you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Judge, I don't have anything further.
All right, Mr. Eldridge?
Just a couple of questions, Your Honor. So is it Miss Ariza? Am I saying it right?
Ariza.
Ariza. Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure what I was looking back at my old notes. The only thing that Mr. Zamora is the non-offending parent, right?
Correct.
And the only thing he was asked to do that I know of, I didn't have the counseling down. I had down that he was supposed to take a parenting class and a drug test. Did he? And that's all he was required to do. But he's done the counseling either way. He's
Yes.
doing the parenting class. Did he pass the drug test, or did you have him do a drug test?
Yes, he has completed 4 drug tests for me, and I will get those filed today.
Okay, so he pretty much in compliance then. He's the non-offending parent. You don't like that he's not reaching out to you to give you details of what's going on at home, right?
Correct. I've just had issues with him letting me know where he's at with his services, because it is part of the court order for him to communicate with me and let me know. So that's been the situation, and him showing to be in short-term unprotected parent, allowing Isabella to have contact with April.
Okay, and I'll talk to him about that. Yeah, that's definitely a violation. Do you know where he is on the parenting class? Is he about done, or do you have any idea? I can ask him.
Correct. So it is a 12-week parenting class. As of February 24th, he may have completed 4 sessions. Again, he waits until I go see him in person for him to give me this information. As of today, he should have completed 5 parenting classes.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Otherwise, he's doing all right. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then. Ms. Naranjo?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Ariza, Mr. Zamora, is he still working that schedule where he's 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off?
So as of right now, I know he has an absent leave, so he has not gone to work for the entire month of February. But that is his plan. At some point, once he's able to return back to work, he will be 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Okay. And do you know who's going to watch the children again when he's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off?
So with that, we're having issues. Of course, my supervisor and I have talked with them. And obviously his mom, Vicky, is the one who was caring for them, but they're not wanting her to watch the children anymore. The last time I spoke with Pablo about that, he said he would figure it out. And that was really about it. So we're kind of waiting to see what his plan is with that, and what we're going to do.
Do we know why Mr. Zamora does not want his mother watching the children anymore?
They had an issue. There was tension between them. Vicky did say at one point she hopes Eliana would just go into foster care. Again, we had a family team meeting. That's where we addressed that situation. And Vicky did apologize and said that it's not, she didn't mean that. But that's kind of still an issue. There's still some tension and some feelings in there that they're not wanting Vicky to watch Isabella or Eliana.
Now, since we've had the first initial hearing in this case, there's been about 4 or 5 new investigations involving this family at this point, correct?
Correct.
So there's continuing to be ongoing concerns and issues.
Correct.
Has Isabella made any progress with counseling as of yet?
No major. She has completed 2 sessions, to my knowledge. So no major changes as of now.
And you testified earlier that Isabella's kind of, since she's started having more of a relationship with her mom, she's become a lot more withdrawn with you.
Yes, correct.
I'll pass witness.
Okay. Anybody have anything further that they need to talk about today, or any questions?
Yeah, I just have one question, Your Honor, if you don't mind, and I don't know whether to ask you or the caseworker. Is the girl is 14? Is it not okay for dad to let mom talk to the 14-year-old? Is that against the safety plan? I understand the visitation's got to go by the safety plan, but is it okay for him to let her talk to her mom on the phone or text or whatever? You know what I mean? I want to be able to advise him correctly.
My understanding initially was that we weren't going to do that, but Ms. Ariza, go ahead.
So she's not supposed to have any type of contact with her children. Of course, now with the unsupervised visits that are that's going to be in place today, that could change. I would have to get with my supervisor just to check on that one. But she, as of right now, she shouldn't have any kind of contact. So the safety plan hasn't been signed yet. The new one that's going to be implemented today.
And
Okay.
may I suggest, since we have the supervisor here, if Ms. Moore can answer that question while she's here, unless there needs to be further deliberation on that or meeting with the mom.
No, that's fine. The concern earlier was the content of the communication between April and Isabella. There was concerns that it was derogatory in manner towards the child. I think they have been kind of working through that. Isabella's reporting more positive thoughts towards April, and so I think we're getting to a better place. When we do implement the unsupervised, as long as the contact is appropriate and it's not making Isabella regress or have any more issues, I don't have a problem. But that was the original issue, was that the comments were very derogatory. Again, I think they're working on that and it's improving. And as long as it stays positive and kid friendly, I think it would be okay.
Thank you.
All right, does that help?
Sounds like it's okay.
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 As long as it's
Pause.
all, beneficial.
Okay.
All right, then. Anybody have anything else?
No, ma'am.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then today I'm going to continue the services previously ordered.
I apologize, Judge. Do you want a recommendation?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Ms. Verona, thank you. My allergies are really bad this morning. I think I've got a fuzzy head.
You're fine, Judge. Judge, I did have some concerns. I don't know if it's because of Isabella's contact with mom or anything like that, but since that's been reported to me, Isabella has become very withdrawn in communication with my office. She doesn't really want to communicate very much. I don't know why that is, when she was very open about communication before. I would also like to inform the court that before today's hearing, mom was court-ordered to have no unsupervised contact with the children. So by having contact with Isabella through the phone, that was a violation of that order. And I think maybe it's causing some interference with my relationship, at least with Isabella. And I would also ask that the court stress to all parties that I need to be able to communicate with the children. I will say that we reached out a little bit later than we normally do, but I have not been getting much response from really anybody regarding communicating with the children. Usually the mother from Ms. Montes usually reaches out to us pretty quickly. She has not responded to our calls. I was only recently informed that Mr. Zamora's mother wasn't even involved with the children anymore. So it's just, there's some concerns that there's being some interference with my relationship with the children.
All right, so Ms. Montes, Mr. Zamora, let me just tell you all, Ms. Verona has a very important job to fulfill in this case. And, she's got to have access to the kids when she needs it. You need to return her phone calls if you're not. I too, Ms. Verona, am a little concerned about the sudden change and shift in things, but it sounds to me like it's going to happen. I'll see we'll see how this goes. But, just continued disregard of rules and parameters and all of that is going to either, stretch this thing out for as long as it can be, or, worst case scenario, it can convert it into a way more serious situation. So, everybody needs to follow the rules. And please, if Ms. Naranjo is in contact with you, respond to her. If that continues to be a problem, then it's not going to just be a problem for Ms. Naranjo. It's going to be a big problem with me. So everybody understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Naranjo. We'll see how it goes. All right, then we'll continue the services as previously ordered. And I'm going to set another compliance hearing for June 3rd of 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. We'll see how we're doing at that point. And appreciate everybody logging in this morning, and I'll see you back then. We're conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming and we're recording through the Zoom cloud today. I don't have a reporter. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Sorry, Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Tori Cook is my permanency specialist. We're present and ready.
Stacy Grant on behalf of the mother, Samantha Medina. I'm present and ready.
Kenner on behalf of the father, Alan Olivarez. We're both present and ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Alexi.
All right. Okay, Mr. Trout, who's going to give us an update?
Ms. Cook, yeah.
All right, Ms. Cook, you can go right ahead.
All right. Everything is going great in the home. I was visiting quite frequently, weekly, now bi-weekly. Everybody seems to get along well. I think communication has become a lot more positive with each other. Alexi is doing very well in school. We did move her since the court report was filed. She is at River Road now instead of Richard Milburn. But she was showing me her courses that she's working on online, making really good grades. I know that I had some dental work done, still working through that. Had to have some teeth pulled and cavities filled, but I think we're almost finished with all of that. But Dad's been getting her to all those appointments. She's been healthy, no issues there. She goes and sees Erin, her therapist, who she has an amazing relationship with. She's glad to be back in this area so she can see her. Her meds are looked at every month. And she's very adamant about advocating for herself and her medication and how they make her feel. And she believes they're working for her right now. And then, to no fault of Dad's, we're still trying to find a family counselor in this area that doesn't have a wait list. I know they did complete a couple of sessions virtually with a provider, but excuse me, since then he's had some scheduling conflicts. The provider has, not Dad. So that is something that, I'm still working on. But other than that, it just seems like everything is going great in the home. Everybody has a good relationship, and everybody's happy with where we're at.
Okay.
Ms. Cook, have you had any contact with Mom?
I have not had contact since January, and she just told me she has zero interest of having a relationship with Alexi or having her back in her home, and still would like to relinquish her rights.
Thank you, ma'am.
And on that note, I will say I've spoken with Dad as well and Alexi, and everybody seems to be on board with that decision.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Has that document been provided to Ms. Grant?
Judge, I think we already have that provided from the last case. We didn't prove it up last time, so we have a relinquishment on file in this case.
Okay. All right, thank you. I've long since forgotten that. Okay.
And Judge, I think if I'll go ahead and kind of put it out there, if nobody's in objection to it, I think we would ask to go ahead and set an earlier final in this if parties are agreeable to that.
You would set the final, like July 1st?
Well, we're set July 1st. If I think the child has been back in the home for a few months now. Things have been going well. If Ms. Grant's client is wanting to proceed that way, I think we would already be at a spot of if we want to prove up the relinquishment and then get out of the case.
Okay.
Before July 1st, if we can, but if we need to wait till July 1st, that's fine, Your Honor.
I'm fine if we want to get, like, when do you want to set it? Give me a time frame.
I mean, I would say 45 days out.
All right, Miss Katie, if you'll look for a date for us. Okay, while we're doing that, then Ms. Grant, anything to add today?
Nothing to add, Your Honor. My client does want to proceed with her relinquishment. Last time we tried to prove it up, the ad litem argued for child support, and we kind of waited to see if maybe something would resolve in the case. And I think as long as the ad litem is okay with release of the child support obligation at this point, based on no improvement in the relationship, then we would be okay to proceed in that direction.
All right, Ms. Naranjo?
Your Honor, from conversations with my client, I know he's interested in doing the relinquishment and having Miss Medina's rights terminated. But if Miss Medina does remain in the case and her rights are not terminated, Mr. Olivarez is asking to at least increase her child support to minimum wage. And I don't think the child support currently is being redirected towards him. I'm not sure if that's 100% correct, but if it's not, we'd ask that it be redirected towards him today since the child's back with him.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I am on board with the relinquishment. I've talked with Alan and Alexi about it. So I will not object to that. I'm also on board for a much earlier final. Alexi's doing great. The family's doing great. All three of them have really good communication, and it was just really, really fun to see her and how well she was doing. So I've got no objections to finishing out early and doing that relinquishment and getting us out of their lives. Now, I do want to say when the last case ended, they had a little bit of trouble switching over to Medicaid. Somehow there was something stuck in the computer showing that we were still involved. So I think I'm just going to make sure that I have a certified final order when we're done to give over to the family. And if they've got any other problems with that, just to let us know so that we can help them make sure that that gets transitioned correctly.
Okay. All right, so sounds like everybody's got a plan. So Miss Katie circulated a couple dates. One we know doesn't work for Mr. Naranjo, so we're looking at April 22nd at 9. Does that sound like that works for everybody?
Works for us, Your Honor.
I can do that.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, great. Then today, I will continue. The department is temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the child's placement with Mr. Olivarez. Find there will be a continuing danger to return the child to the mother. And we'll set this in on April 22nd on 9 o'clock docket for a final.
I apologize. We can also get the child support redirected to Mr. Olivarez if it's not already.
And I was looking.
I did not see any orders redirecting it, but I could have missed it.
Yeah, I can't. My note doesn't say that. I'm looking to see.
Can I tell y'all something?
Sure.
It's been hit and miss, but we get payments every once in a while. So I don't know if it's already gone automatic, but they'll hit like $50 every here and there.
Sounds like it's going to you then.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just letting you know so you don't have to like look through all your paperwork.
Yeah, I mean, I see where it's, it's 50-month child support, 50-month medical. And then we said everything else reverted back to the prior order, but if you're getting some payments here and there, then it sounds to me like they're directing them to him.
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Okay. You just don't get them as often as you'd like, I'm sure.
It's not even that. It's just the $50 a month. Because it used to be they based her when I first got custodial, they based her wages off a minimum wage. I used to get $224 a month. They based her off $7.50 an hour at 40 hours. And then it's whenever this happens when it got dropped to $50.
Well, since we're gonna resolve this at the end of April, even if I increased it right now, it wouldn't have time to go into effect.
Absolutely. It's no big deal. That's no big deal at all, ma'am.
Okay. All right. We'll just leave it as is then until we get a final order entered, and then of course it will terminate. So.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll see everybody back then April 22nd.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. I apologize that we're running behind. All right. I'm gonna probably be moving some of you into some breakout rooms is my guess, while I give the court reporter a quick break. So Ms. Galvan, you can go ahead and just take a break. We don't need any of this on the record. All right then, Mr. Trout, I know you've indicated you want a breakout room.
With Miss Grant, just real quick, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to assign her to one. You can go back to one. Anybody else need a breakout room?
Your Honor, I'm standing in for Kendra Naranjo. Could I have a breakout room with Mr. Olivarez, please?
Okay, hang on. Let me get you all assigned.
Miss Lucero, do you need to speak to me real quick?
I don't believe so. I think we're good to go, Daniel.
Okay.
I was just gonna let Judge or Rachel know if they could bring Mr. Olivarez back in. I'm not sure he knows what to click there.
Okay.
Did you have any questions for me, Daniel, or no?
No, I just wanted to make sure nothing had changed and y'all were
No, nothing's changed.
We're here on our final today. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming, and Ms. Galvan's making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services will present ready, Your Honor.
Stacey Grant on behalf of respondent mother Samantha Medina. My client's not present, not expected, Your Honor, but I'm ready to proceed.
Lauren Sarah standing in for Kendra Naranjo, Your Honor, attorney for the father, Mr. Olivarez, Your Honor. We're both present and ready.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of Alexi.
All right, then. Mr. Trout, any announcements to make? Are we ready to take testimony?
A quick testimony, Your Honor. I did speak with Ms. Grant as far as kind of same situation as last hearing. As far as if asking the court to take judicial notice of the removal of affidavit of removal from this case as to mom. We'll be proving up relinquishment today that mom filed and filled out in the last case that we did not prove up. So it would be requesting a sole managing to the father and proving up relinquishment on mom. But just to ask if there's any objections to taking judicial notice of the affidavit of removal instead of testimony today.
No objection, Your Honor.
We have no objection, Your Honor. The mother previously in the previous case prior to this removal testified to her affidavit of relinquishment. Our position has not changed, and we stipulate that all of the facts in the relinquishment are true and correct, and we do not require testimony on the removal in this case.
Okay, relinquishment or affidavit for removal.
affidavit for removal, we do not, we stipulate to that, Judge.
Okay. All right, so the request is to take judicial notice of the affidavit in support of removal.
Yes, ma'am.
No objection.
Correct.
Okay, I'll take judicial notice of that document. All right. Also, did you ask for that for her affidavit? Are you going to introduce?
And I'll prove it up I'll prove it up right now, Your Honor. But I would ask, with that affidavit of removal, that we allow Mr. Jared Aureliano to be released. He was going to be my witness to that if we needed to take testimony.
No
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, Mr. Arellano, sounds like you're free to go on about your day, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jared. And with that, Your Honor, I'd call Tori Cook. And how are you familiar with that case?
I am her permanency specialist.
Okay. And the child is placed back home with dad, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And today we're asking that dad be made sole managing conservator of the child, correct?
Yes.
Okay. As far as mom, did you receive what I sent out, the exhibits?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have exhibit number 1 in front of you?
I do.
Okay. Did the mother, Samantha Medina, execute an affidavit of voluntary relinquishment on the 30th day of November of 2022?
Yes.
And have you had the opportunity to review that relinquishment?
Yes.
And did the mother sign that relinquishment?
She did.
Were there 2 witnesses to that relinquishment?
Yes.
Has it been notarized?
Yes, it has.
Did the department consent at that time to be the managing conservator?
Yes.
But at this time, we will not be asking for the department to be the managing conservator, just dad.
Correct.
Okay. Was that filed with the court on March 21st of 2023?
Yes.
And are you asking the court today to terminate the parental rights of Samantha Medina as to the child based solely upon that affidavit of voluntary relinquishment?
Yes.
And do you believe that is in the best interest of the child?
I do.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 1 of the affidavit that was just testified to.
No
Any objection?
No
No
objection.
objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And as far as mom waiving all other grounds?
Correct.
Okay. Child doing well since being placed back with dad?
Yes, she's doing exceptionally well.
Okay. And you do believe that sole managing to dad, the department being released from obligations in the case, and mom being terminated on under the voluntary relinquishments is in that best interest of the child?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Grant, any questions?
Ms. Cook, do you have any knowledge of a previous order of $100 a month in child support in this case?
I am not sure of the amount, but I know there was child support ordered. Yes.
Okay. And you're not requesting today that child support continue, correct?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any testimony today to offer regarding any arrearages that might have existed in that child support order?
No, ma'am.
Pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Lucero.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Cook, I just really had a question regarding Medicaid. Currently, is a child covered under Medicaid?
Yes.
Okay, and is that under the department's temporary managing conservator?
Yes. However, she was also covered by Medicaid before the removal.
Okay, so will that, I'm just making sure that once this case closes out, that the Medicaid can be transferred over to be carried under her father, Mr. Olivarez. Will that happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any steps that he'll need to take to do that, or is that something that y'all paperwork that's done after the case closes, or do you know?
He will have to call, and I've talked to him about that. So.
Okay. All right then. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Vala, any questions?
Ms. Cook, just a short follow-up on what Ms. Lucero was asking. There was a previous case, and when that case closed, something about Medicaid didn't transfer over, and so they were having problems accessing the Medicaid benefits. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so we believe that was probably just a fluke last time and shouldn't happen this time. Is that right?
That should be correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If by any chance after this case closes and there's any documentation that Mr. Olivarez needs in order to fix that Medicaid problem, we would be willing to give them that documentation. Is that correct?
100%. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Trout, anything further from this witness?
Nothing further from this witness, Your Honor, and no further witnesses. Pardon me, rest.
All right, then, anybody have any further questions for Ms. Cook?
No, no.
All right, Ms. Grant, anything to present today?
Your Honor, I would just ask if all attorneys are willing to stipulate that no child support is sought in this matter moving forward, that the ad litem agrees that no child support should be ordered, and that no arrearages exist.
Your Honor,
I don't know if anybody, well, I guess here's my question. I'm not sure if anybody can stipulate if there's any arrearages that exist. And
Yeah, I was gonna say,
there's not really, there's nothing that really I can do to change that. So, I mean, if there, I think we can certainly address current child support, but if there are any arrears, I think it's just out there.
I don't believe there are, Judge, but I understand.
I was gonna say the same, Your Honor. I'll stipulate that we're not asking for any child support going forward. As far as arrearages, I do not know on that. So I wouldn't be able to stipulate that there's none, but I don't know.
Thank you, Judge.
So the department is not seeking any payment of any arrears owed to the department.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
And then I would like to call Mr. Olivarez regarding any waiver that he is making in regard to that, Judge.
Okay, but we're clear that the department is not seeking any arrearage judgment if there are indeed arrears owed to the department.
Correct, Your Honor.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Grant, you can call your witness.
Thank you. I call Alan Olivarez.
All right, you may proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Olivarez. Is it correct that you previously testified that you do not need nor are seeking the $100 child support in this case to continue and or be redirected to you?
Yeah, that's cool. I don't need it.
Okay. And you are okay with the relinquishment and you agree that's in the best interest of the child, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Pass the witness.
Anybody else have any further questions for Mr. Olivarez?
No question, Your Honor.
No question.
All right, Ms. Grant, do you rest?
I rest, Judge. No further witnesses.
All right, Ms. Lucero.
Your Honor, I don't have any questions. I spoke with Mr. Olivarez, and of course, he's on board to be named sole managing conservator of the child. And as was discussed here, if he needs any help with getting the Medicaid paperwork, he'd appreciate that. And that's all I have for the court today, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for standing in for Mr. Ronho and helping us get this done today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, no witnesses. I rest.
All right, you have a recommendation?
Yes, I do believe it's in Alexi's best interest to remain with Dad, for him to be named sole managing conservator, for the relinquishment, for the termination of mom's rights based on the relinquishment, and no child support going forward. I believe all of that is in Alexi's best interest.
All right, thank you very much. Then, all right. I find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of the child to terminate the parental rights between the child and the mother, Samantha Medina, based on her voluntary affidavit of relinquishment of parental rights only in the best interest of the child under subsection B2. At this time, I will name Mr. Alan Olivarez as the sole managing conservator of the child. I will find that there are no arrears owed to the department by the mother, no child support arrears, and or medical support arrears. Let me be clear. I'll dismiss the department from the case and all other attorneys from the case after the de novo and appellate timeframes expire in the case. Counsel, as always, if you're instructed to file a notice of appeal, please do not do that until a final order has been signed and adopted by the referring court. This being a final disposition of this case, child back to a parent, there won't be any further hearings once we're out, so no further hearings to announce. Mr. Olivarez, congratulations and thank you so much. And I'm so proud of the progress that you guys have made and so happy that Alexi's home and doing well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Continued good luck.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge.
Okay. Are we ready to go? Or does anybody need a breakout room?
I don't think so unless something's changed. I spoke to Mr. Taylor the other day and I think he wanted to proceed with a hearing. So unless that's changed, I think we're ready to go, Your Honor.
I believe that's the status we're in. I'm assuming my client is connected.
She's connected. I need to get her on camera. Ms. Jeffries, you need to turn your camera on.
And Judge, if you don't mind, if I could just be heard quickly before you begin.
Yeah, let me call the case.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Judge.
If you want it on the record, let me call the case.
Sure.
Okay, Ms. Jeffries, I need you to unmute for me and turn your camera on. Okay, Ms. Jeffries, I can't proceed until I know that you're hearing us and we can hear you. So I need you to unmute.
Hello.
Okay, I can hear
I'm
you.
trying to get the camera on. I'm having trouble. I'm sorry.
Okay, as long as you can hear us, that you can keep working on that, but we'll call the case, take announcements and some other issues first. We're here today for our adversary hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom under finding a good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming, and if anybody needs a copy, I'm recording to the Zoom cloud. I do not have a reporter this morning. All right, we'll take announcements first.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Bill Taylor representing the mother of the children, Vember Jeffries. She is present. I'm present. We're ready.
Tracy Riley representing Keon Mathis.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children.
All right, Ms. Riley, you represent Mr. Mathis, and you had some issue you needed to address.
Yes, Judge, just briefly, and I apologize. Mr. Mathis is currently in the Potter County Jail, and he is where he is charged with a homicide, but I also represent him. And so he will not be present for today's hearing, but we will be discussing, he is not in a position, obviously, to be a resource for the children at this point in time. But my issue, Judge, is I have a hearing in one of the other courts that starts was supposed to start at 10. So I wanted to appear here and then ask Your Honor's permission to just come back as soon as that's done.
That's fine, Ms. Riley. Did he want to appear?
He does not need to appear today, Judge, no. Okay. He understands that he is not in a position to be able to be, to do anything for the children right now.
Does that translate to he's agreeing to the department being named temporary management server, or just he understands he's not in a position to take place?
I wasn't able to get as far as the fact that he is in agreement, Judge, just that he understands he's not in a position.
All right. Okay.
Because I think he would like the children to remain with Vember.
All right. Well, I understand your obligation. My concern is that you don't really have his agreement, and you're going to be absent for a significant portion of the hearing, maybe. So I don't know that we don't need to look at a reset date when you'd be available. Let me ask. Let me just ask that what's the status of locating Mr. Harris or Mr. Johnson?
We were able to get Mr. Harris served on 3-4. Don't believe Mr. Johnson has been found yet, Your Honor. Let me look.
Then Ms. Jeffries was served, correct?
Ms. Jeffries was served on 3-3, Your Honor.
Do we have any information about Mr. Johnson?
I don't think so, Your Honor. I don't see that we've even issued a citation yet. Let me look one more time.
Right. We've also served Ms. Riley's client. So.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have not. We've not sent out. I don't have any information on Mr. Johnson, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if you please, the court, I'd be glad for Ms. Jeffries to tell us what she knows about Mr. Johnson on the record, right up front.
Ms. Jeffries, do you have any contact with him or know how to contact him?
You'd like to unmute, remember?
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so I guess she didn't have anything to share with us about that.
You said you don't know where he's at?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, did we ever have any contact with him in the prior TFF case? I was kind of looking back at my notes.
Ms. Archie, do you remember, did you ever have any contact with Mr. Johnson during the FPSS?
No, I have never had any contact with him.
Okay. All right, then. Well, I still have the same concern about Ms. Riley because her client is incarcerated
And so, Judge, and I don't know, and again, I apologize for this, but I just found out that we actually are not going to have to do a hearing. I just need to make an announcement. And so I don't know if the court would consider just a 5-minute continuance, but I think if you'd allow me 5 minutes, I can go make an announcement before the court and then be back.
Okay, I'd be much better about that you be present then.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Well, then I'm going to stay on the Zoom, but just since it's on my phone, and just, if that's okay, and just mute myself and take myself out for a second.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Mr. Trapp, how many witnesses do you have today?
I know I'll have 4 of them.
Your Honor, I believe Vember Jeffries' mother, Sabrina Jeffries, is with her in her location, and I intend to call her as a witness.
All right, so probably 2. For Mr. Trapp, is your 4 include parents or?
It does not, John. I know that I got 4, and I may be calling Ms. Jeffries also as a 5th.
Okay.
Two of my witnesses will be fairly quick, Your Honor. I'll try to get them in and out. But then the others, I don't know. I can't say how long they'll take.
Okay. I'm asking.
Two of my witnesses should be fairly quick, Your Honor. I'll try to get them in and out. But then the others, I don't know. I can't say how long they'll take.
Okay. I'm asking because I may have time constraint that I had no idea we may be needing this much time for this hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll see what happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll wait for Ms. Riley to get back on camera. All right, I said you can call your first witness.
Your Honor, I believe I'd call.
It's still breaking up?
Ma'am.
Okay, apparently I'm still breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me okay right now?
I can hear you fine now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
I would call Emily Foote first, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Foote, would you state your name for the record, please?
Emily Foote.
And Ms. Foote, how are you employed?
I work at Amarillo Independent School District.
And in what capacity do you work for them? What do you do?
I am the attendance clerk in the office.
Okay. Are you familiar with the children?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with them?
They were students at our school in 1st grade and 3rd grade.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity to review the attendance records of those children?
Yes, sir.
And did you send a copy of the attendance records to Ms. Archie?
Yes, sir.
Do you have what I sent out, the email I sent out with exhibits number 1 and number 2 on those?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize exhibit number 1 and number 2?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell me what those are?
They are their attendance records for the time that they were at Bivens this year.
Okay. And when you say they, who do you mean?
Kira and Makai.
Okay. And are these marked exhibits, are they accurate copies of what you sent to Miss Archie?
Yes, sir.
Have you been able to review the exhibits?
Yes, sir.
And has anything been changed?
No, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibits number 1 and 2 as the records that Ms. Foote just testified to.
No objection.
All right, petitioners and exhibits 1 and 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Foote, we'll start with exhibit number 1 with Karen. How has her attendance been at school?
She has missed a total of 56 days. 23 of those were excused, and 33 of those were unexcused.
Okay. And how many, that's 56 days out of how many days they've been enrolled?
They were enrolled for 113 days.
Okay. So right at about half of the days.
Yes, sir.
And on exhibit number 2 with What is his attendance records?
It is the same. He has missed 56 days as well total. His was 22 excused and 34 unexcused.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Taylor.
No questions.
Okay, and Ms. Riley?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Zavala?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Trout, anything further of this witness?
I have nothing further from Ms. Foote, Your Honor.
All right, anybody else have any questions before I release her?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Foote, thank you very much for logging in with us. We appreciate your time, and you're free to go at this time.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Foote.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Trout, who's your next witness?
Your Honor, next I would call Dr. Rachel Anderson.
All right, you may proceed.
In Your Honor, in just in the essence of time, I would ask if parties would stipulate that Ms. Anderson's an expert in this as in her field. I believe everybody knows her as doctor at Texas Tech. So I just wanted to see if everybody would, essence of time, stipulate to that.
All right, counsel, everybody stipulate to that, or we have any objection?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, Ms. Zavala, I did not hear you.
No objection.
Okay. All right, then there being no objection made, then Dr. Anderson, you're going to be qualified as an expert in your field, and as such, you can testify as to your opinions in that field.
Are you familiar with the child Isaiah Jeffries?
I am. I first met Isaiah on January 28th, and that was his first visit with me.
Okay. And why were you seeing Isaiah at that time?
I was asked by the hospital to follow up with Isaiah after an inpatient stay at Northwest Texas.
And you reviewed the files?
Yes.
And what had he been in Northwest Texas for?
He initially was brought in. Mom was concerned that he had stopped breathing and had performed CPR, and he was brought by EMS to the ER where he was having respiratory distress, so trouble breathing. He was admitted to the ICU at that point.
Do you know what caused that respiratory issue?
The thought overall, he tested positive for a few viruses and bacteria, but it was an infection causing pneumonia.
Okay. Do you have, I guess, an opinion on viruses like that or sicknesses like that? How long does it take to get to the point that Isaiah was?
So sometimes kids can get very sick very quickly with viruses. It's complicated in Isaiah's case because he is a premature baby. And so he's more susceptible to those problems than another child that was born at full term.
So a premature baby, it is more concerning. Minor sicknesses can cause bigger issues. Is that what you mean?
Yes, definitely.
When you first saw him, how was he?
When I saw him, I was a little bit concerned. So the hospital called me on the 15th, so January 15th, to see him immediately after discharge. So we made him an appointment the next day with me. That appointment was not kept. And so then we had to try to make another appointment. He saw my nurse practitioner the Monday after, so about 4 days after. And then he eventually got to me on the 28th. So I saw him significantly after that first hospital stay, and he was actually sick again with RSV at that point.
And was he still having, RSV, so he was still having respiratory issues?
Yes, he had gotten better in between, but then had another virus that he got. And that appointment was scheduled. And so one thing that I'm a little bit concerned with this is that we have, are we showing up to the physician when we need to show up? Is how ill is he? That sort of thing.
Okay. What was his weight like?
So when I've got it all in kilograms, so I'll tell you in percentiles mostly. So when he was born, mom didn't have very much prenatal care, so we didn't know exactly how early he was. By our estimation from the NICU, he was about 34 weeks, which is about a month and a half early. So at that point, he was hitting about 5th percentile on his weight, so he's 2.2 kilos at that point. When he came back into the hospital, that first visit in the hospital when he had CPR and was very ill, he was 2.4 kilos. So he went from 2.24 to 2.4. With that, he dropped down under the curve. And so I was concerned about seeing that weight. When he was in the hospital, he gained a good amount. And then when he was out, we kind of stagnated again. So I saw him for that one visit in between, and he was very low. He came back with grandma, her name's Sabrina, and his weight had significantly improved after we had worked on his weight for a little bit.
When a baby falls under the curve, what does that mean?
So the big concern with a premature baby, and if they're not gaining weight, we're struggling. We can't give ourselves enough calories for the immune system. So his immune system would be a little bit lower. Development falls behind, and just overall health falls behind. They did mention in the ER notes very significantly that he looked very thin, he looked very ill, that sort of thing initially. And he did look very thin when I saw him. He was, up and smiling and looked otherwise okay when I saw him in the clinic, but he was still very thin. The last visit I saw him, he has gotten much better. He has a little bit more fat on him, a little bit more rolls. So we're going in the right direction.
With a baby that drops under the curve, would you have diagnosed him or state that he was in a kind of failure to thrive situation at that time?
Yes, failure to thrive is actually a little bit of an older diagnosis. We changed the name to growth faltering a couple of years ago, but that's the historical definition. He would fall under that definition of failure to thrive.
And with a premature child that's under the growth chart at that time, what concerns does that give you?
I think one of the big ones with this case is that he just needs to be followed a lot more closely. He was discharged from the NICU and told to follow up in a day or two. So he was discharged on November 6th, told to follow up in 1 to 2 days. Unless I'm mistaken and he went somewhere else, he had an appointment scheduled on November 21st. So that was 15 days later, that was canceled. And then another appointment that was made for December 4th, also here, that was canceled at Texas Tech. So we've canceled 2 appointments, and then he wasn't seen until he was admitted to the hospital, unless I don't have those records from somewhere else.
So counting those 2 prior to the hospital visit and with you, is that a total of 4 visits that have been missed with him?
Okay, so yes, we have the 11/21 that was canceled, the 12/4 that was canceled, and then after the hospital visit, the 1/16 that was canceled. When I saw him with the RSV, I asked to see him in a week, and that one was a no-show on February 3rd. After that, grandma brought him in to see me on February 19th. So I think that's 5. I'm not counting that wrong.
And with your office, did y'all try to reach out to mom and try to see where she was and to try to get her to the visits?
I've asked a few times. I talked with the social worker and with the nurse to get her to appointments. We also knew that there was a CPS case, and so we reached out to the caseworker to see if we could get help getting him to his appointments.
With a baby with these type of issues going on, and missing appointments, in your opinion, is that any type of medical neglect or physical neglect?
Obviously, I'm a pediatrician. I think every kid should get their well child check appointments, but the reality is most well childs, like, we catch things, but it's not too big of a deal. But a child that's a premature baby, that's not growing, that we've already done CPR on, and he was in the ICU, these appointments need to be followed, because we might be missing something that we could have caught that would help increase his life expectancy. He's at a higher risk of death because all this has happened previously. And so we do need to be following him as closely as we can and making sure that we are following up on certain things and that his lungs sound good and all that sort of stuff.
And you said you saw him on February the 18th, 19th, I believe. 19th.
Let's see. I saw him on January 28th, and then I saw him on February 19th. Those are the 2 appointments I've had.
And had you prescribed or put him on a different formula?
Yes, so the hospital actually put him on a formula called Fortini. It is a high-calorie formula for sometimes premature babies, but babies that aren't gaining weight well. And it's been a little bit notoriously hard to get. The hospital likes to do it because it helps with weight gain. When I saw him in the clinic, we were still doing just a regular infant formula. His weight hadn't been great, so I gave Mom a WIC form to try to get the Fortini again, and we tried to do it through insurance, and I think we just struggled getting that formula. From what I understand, I think after the hospital, he hadn't been on the Fortini even up to the February 19th visit when he was gaining weight well. So when he was gaining weight well, he was gaining weight on a normal formula. So I think that it was how often are we feeding? Are we getting him enough calories? Because he gained weight appropriately on that formula.
Okay, and that was gonna be my next question. If a child like this is claimed to be being fed regularly, they should be gaining some sort of weight, correct?
So that's always a hard question because you can't tell what a baby's metabolism is, and some babies will need higher calorie formulas. And so I think the hospital and the dietitian at the hospital wanted to try to get as much weight gain as they could because we were behind. But it is encouraging to me to see that he was gaining weight even on an regular infant formula.
Okay. And if a child that for months has not been gaining weight and then all of a sudden in a short period of time gains some weight, does that signify to you one way if it's the formula just started working, or do you believe it was a lack of feeding on a regular basis?
So in studies, about 95% of the time there's a calorie problem. We're not getting the amount we need. So whether it's that he just was not being fed regularly or he was just not eating quite enough, I can't really tell you the exact reason, but he wasn't getting enough calories in that time frame, and now he's getting enough calories to grow. I never want to blame anybody for not specifically feeding their baby, but if we had been able to see him, we could have done a lot more teaching about how to feed him, because sometimes premature babies are harder to feed. They don't feed great. They have trouble gaining weight. So it's more of maybe an education piece that we really, really needed to get down for that.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Anderson. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I was muted and didn't realize it. When you saw him on the 19th of February, you said that he was gaining weight well. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I believe you had said earlier that Grandma was the one who brought him in that day.
Yes.
He was not yet on the, what do you call it, the special formula?
Yes, the special formula. I don't believe he had. I know he had a little bit when he was in the hospital, and he gained amazing weight in the hospital. So he gained 55 grams a day in the hospital, but after discharge until that first visit, he only gained 8 grams a day, which is not sufficient. But between my first and second visit, he had gained 37 grams a day. So that was wonderful weight gain that I like to see. And that was with grandmother. And I will say both women that brought him in knew, to me asking the questions, they knew how much he was taking. They knew his bowel patterns. It seemed to be that they were trying to feed him well when I talked to him for both visits.
But both women you're talking about, Vember and her mother?
Yes.
Okay. And I believe my question was, he was not yet on that special formula at Fortini?
Right. He was not on that. From what I know, he did not get that Fortini formula.
And you had approved until such time as they could get him on that formula, you had approved him being on the special Similac,
Yes.
and that's what he was on when he came in with grandmother on the 19th of February, quote, gaining weight well.
Yes.
Now, I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Riley?
I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
Dr. Anderson, you were just asked about that last visit, and you said that 2 women brought him in. Are you sure that the other woman there was Vember?
No, what I was saying. So even when I met with Vember that first visit, she knew how much he was eating, knew his bowel patterns and things like that, but his weight was just not doing well at that point. When Sabrina brought him in, Roshonda came with Sabrina, and so we talked at that point, and she knew the feeding, the weight was good, all of that.
Okay, so Vember wasn't there at that
No.
last visit.
And at the first visit, Vember was there, and Sabrina was on FaceTime with us too. And Isaiah was having some respiratory distress at that point too, and so we were talking through that.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Sure.
Dr. Anderson, since the weight gain, does it put Isaiah back on the chart, or is he still under on the chart?
So the visit on the 19th put him pretty much at the chart line. And so I think he was at the 3rd percentile on the 19th. Since that point, he actually has jumped up and is on the 19th percentile. So he's continued to gain significant weight since that visit.
And with a child, so he was born, I believe, in October. So with a child that goes from October to January with kind of stagnant, not gaining weight like he should, and then within a matter of about 3 weeks gains good weight. To you, does that signify that something changed? Was it more on the feeding pattern, or something changed within him?
I think that he was being fed appropriately in the past since he got to the hospital. I think he's been fed appropriately. So, and then when after that we stagnated, and then started getting fed more, and he's done better.
Okay. You said when you first met him in January, that mom seemed to know the feeding patterns and the bowel movements. But up to that point, he had not been gaining weight, correct?
Right. In the hospital, he gained a significant amount, but when he got out from the hospital, his weight had gone. He's always been gaining small amounts, but not sufficient enough.
Okay. So prior to that, if he would have been being fed as mom told you in that appointment, he theoretically should have been gaining weight, correct?
I think so, yes.
Did that give you concern that he wasn't?
Yes, and so we were adjusting, trying to feed more, doing the education piece of it. And so my ask at that point was a follow-up visit in a week. That didn't happen.
I appreciate it, Dr. Anderson. I'll pass the witness here.
All right, Mr. Taylor, any further questions?
Yes, briefly, Your Honor. I believe he was discharged from the hospital on the 15th of January. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then little more than a month later, on the 19th of February, when grandmother brought him in, you were comfortable with him with the fact that he was gaining weight well at that point.
Yes.
And that at the first visit when Vember brought him in, you said that grandmother was actually there on FaceTime?
Yes, grandmother was on FaceTime.
So Vember had her mother participating and assisting her even back then?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, John.
All right, Ms. Riley, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Zavala?
No further questions.
Okay, Mr. Trout, anything else?
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, then, any objection to Dr. Anderson being released so she can go on about the important business of her day?
No objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Dr. Anderson, thank you very much for logging in. We appreciate your time and we appreciate your attention to this child. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson.
Have a good day. All right, who's next, Mr. Trout?
We call Rashonda Archie, Your Honor. And how are you familiar with those cases, with those children?
I have been working with the family since November. So I've been working with them, seeing them 3 times a month since then.
Okay. And were you working with them in an active case at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what type of case were you working with them?
It was an order to participate service. Mom was to participate in services with the department while we monitor the kids. So.
Okay. And what type of services was mom supposed to be working?
Mom was supposed to be doing a mental health evaluation. She was supposed to be doing a parenting course. She was also supposed to be doing drug counseling due to a positive hair follicle she had back in November. And she was supposed to be doing a psych evaluation as well.
Okay. And in your time working with the case, has mom started any of these services?
No, she hasn't. Oh, and I forgot to add that she is supposed to be doing services with St. Francis. She did have a caseworker with them by the name of Tori. She never moved past phase 1, so we never really made any progress on this case at all.
Okay. Did you ever work with mom to try to get these services set up?
I did. With Isaiah not being on WIC, I actually applied with her. I know that they've called her, but she never followed up with them. I even tried to go up to the WIC office myself to try to get him on the recommended formula, but they would not allow me to do so without mom. I've offered transportation. I did take her once to TPC, or Texas Panhandle Centers, and she was supposed to go for a follow-up, but she did not follow through with that. So it's just what we get. It's like we will make appointments, but we never follow up with them.
Okay. And that was gonna be my next question. You help mom try to get some things set up, and much like what we just heard Dr. Anderson say, there's missed visits and no shows on appointments. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. During your case, how many times did you meet with mom? Do you approximately how many times do you meet face to face?
I would say almost about 13 or 14 times.
Okay. And does mom have transportation issues?
At the beginning of the case, she did. Up until I would say early February, she got transportation. So at that point, she did have transportation.
Okay.
We didn't learn about that until around February the 11th when we had a family group meeting. That's when she told us that she had transportation at that point. But other than that, she did not have transportation prior.
Okay. But prior to that, when she didn't have transportation, was mom aware that you could help provide transportation and get her to where she
Yes. Myself and Tori were very adamant that if she needed transportation to let us know. The times that I did pick her up are the times that she did let me know.
Okay.
That she needed a ride.
With the Texas Panhandle Centers, you said that she made one appointment but didn't follow up. What type of appointment was she having with them?
The follow-up was for her to actually get her mental health evaluation. The first one, I believe what she told me is that kind of discussed like her living dynamics and things like that, more of like a get to know. And the follow-up was for her to actually get her mental health evaluation. So that's the appointment she missed.
And to your knowledge, at this point, she still has not done that?
To my knowledge, no.
Did mom make any concerning statements to you that prompted going to TPC?
She has been dealing with postpartum, so she has mentioned it to myself and the St. Francis worker. To me, she just mentioned like the postpartum part to the St. Francis worker, which they've called me on to when they're together, where she's also made comments about wanting to end her life or just give up. So those were the things that was concerning. At one point, she wanted to go into the pavilion, which was supposed to take the place of her going to TPC that Friday. But that Friday, she did not go to neither one.
Did you attempt to help with transportation to the pavilion?
I did not. Tori, the worker, did. And whenever she could not get a hold of mom, she called me. And at that point, we ended up having to do a wellness check because we were not able to get a hold of Vember or Sabrina at that time.
With the wellness check, were they able to get up with them?
Yes, at Sabrina's house, we were able to see the children and make sure they were safe and that they were there. Vember did end up calling me in the process when the cops were already on their way. I did express to her why we had to do the wellness check.
Did mom state why she was not going to? Let me back up a second. Did mom state she wanted to go to the pavilion?
On that day, she did. She did say that she had already talked to her job about putting in for leave. Whenever that Friday, whenever we talked, she did say that whenever she talked to her job, they told her she had to give like a 2-week notice. So that was the reason why she was not able to go ahead and proceed with going to the pavilion.
Okay. And after that 2-week notice, did she attempt to go to the pavilion?
No, she has not.
Okay. And so mom originally wanted to go to pavilion, but then changed her mind due to her job?
That's correct.
Did you ever have conversations with mom about the children's school?
Yes, we've had conversations about it. One specifically is whenever I took her to the Texas Panhandle Centers on the way back home, I actually stopped and got her, we went and got her apartment application. And from there, I told her like she has to make sure these kids get to school. I expressed the importance of it. She did express that she's trying, but she admitted that it is just her not waking up because she's tired due to work. So I did mention to her about setting an alarm on her phone, and she said she would.
Okay. Where does mom work?
She works for Amazon.
And do you know how often mom works?
She's been expressing to us that she works every day, overnight, except on Wednesdays and the weekends. But she expressed that she was working full time.
Okay. Have you seen any discrepancies in that?
I did. After the removal with the paperwork where she was requesting an attorney, she put on there that she's working 10 hours a week and only 40 hours a month.
So instead of 40 hours a week, it's 40 hours a month?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. And do you know, did she just write that wrong, or have you addressed that with her? Have you talked to her about that?
I have not talked to her about that, so I'm unsure.
Okay, that's just something that you noticed while working the case.
That's correct.
When was the last time you saw Isaiah?
The last time I saw Isaiah was on 2/21, which is the day of the removal.
Okay. And how was he doing at that time?
He was good. He was very active with everyone. He was happy. There was no concerns whenever everyone had him. He was just a very lovable kid. Everybody just wanted to hold him. So.
And we asked for this removal due to mom's lack of participation in the order to participate.
That's correct.
And due to still the concerns of Isaiah. He's doing better, but there's been a lot of concerns with him. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And for the other children not missing half their days of school.
That's correct.
From working the case and working with mom, do you believe it's in the best interest of the children to remove and to help mom get through the hurdles she's got in front of her right now?
I do.
Do you believe, just talking to mom in your conversations with her, that she needs to follow through with her assessments or with getting the help that she thinks she needs?
I do.
And do you believe that it's in the best interest of the children at this time to stay in a safe, comfortable environment while mom works on those things?
I do.
At one point and during the removal, the children were staying at grandma's. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. How many people were living in that apartment, house or apartment?
When we first when the kids were first safety planned to Sabrina's, it was just 5 kids there. I would say around the beginning of February, we learned that another family was living there. So it ended up being 12 children in that home. Because it was
How many
7
adults?
kids got added to the home.
Okay. How many? So 12 kids total. How many adults?
I would say 2, 3, 4 adults.
Okay. So we have about 16 people living in this. Is it a house or an apartment?
It's an apartment.
How many bedroom apartment is it?
3.
Okay. Where were everybody sleeping? What were the arrangements in the living space?
The older children were all in a room together. Blaziana and Makai were in the room with Sabrina.
Okay. And then who was in the third room?
That would have been her son and his wife. I can't recall. I think his name is Matthew, I believe. Or no, I'm not sure what his name is, but yeah, it was her son and his wife. Sorry.
And when you say her son, Sabrina's son?
That's correct.
Okay. Where was Vember?
She was staying at the apartment that she's been at over off of 7th Street. So
Okay.
she stayed in the home that she was at, the apartment that she was at.
Okay. And why were the children not with Vember? Why were they with grandma?
The reason being is because at one point, we were not able to get a hold of Vember. And that was at the point where she was supposed to go to the pavilion when Tori went to go pick her up. Vember was not responding to anyone. No one has heard from her. When asking Sabrina or her sister-in-law, Shantara, they would say they do not know where she's at. So due to the fact that we didn't know where the whereabouts where the children were, that's why we made that decision.
Okay. And you said we made a decision. So did the department place the children with grandma, or did Vember place the children with grandma?
The department placed the children with grandma.
Okay. And as this case progressed, did the concerns become that, and one of the reasons for asking for the removal, that there was no protection from Vember picking the children up?
That's correct.
And the concerns of the lack of progress and lack of cooperation from mom?
That's correct.
And for the health and safety of the children, do you believe it was in the best interest to ask for the removal?
I do.
Where are the children placed now?
Isaiah is placed in White Deer. His foster parent actually texts me every week with updates. He's doing really well. He's hitting milestones. He's now weighing 12 pounds. He is still seeing Dr. Anderson as well. Makai and Kira are placed together. They are in Lubbock. They are doing well. They're enrolled in school. When I speak to Kira, because she does call me sometimes, she is happy. She said her and Makai are happy and they're doing well.
Objection, non-responsive, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right, sustain, just answer what he asks.
Okay. They're in Lubbock, and then Blaziana is in Lubbock as well.
And all the children seem to be doing well.
Yes.
Are the 2 oldest going to school?
Yes, they are.
Are they enjoying school?
They are.
Are you asking today that the court award temporary managing conservatorship to the department?
Yes, sir.
And for mom to work services with us?
Yes, sir.
And any of the fathers that are able to work services for us?
Yes, sir.
And if we are able to be in contact with them, try to get paternity resolved on the fathers?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the children?
I do.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I'm a little bit confused. You removed the children on the 21st of February, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you removed the children from grandmother, not from Vember, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you said that you had placed the children at grandmother's. When was that?
The children were safety planned there on, it will have been February the 6th.
So from February the 6th to February the 21st, they were with grandmother. And you say it's on a placement by the department. But the removal did not occur till February the 21st. Is that what I understand?
Yes.
Okay, where were the children at prior to or at the time of you taking them and placing them at grandmother's on what date did you say? February
Around February the 6th.
February 6th. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Makai was at school. And Kira and Blaziana and Isaiah were with Vember.
Okay.
They were not at Sabrina's at the time.
Where at with Vember?
I don't recall the address. I didn't get the address until I went to Sabrina's house and told her that I had to speak with Vember at that time. And that's when she called Vember.
And you're saying it was not Vember who placed her kids with grandma, it was you or the department?
Yes, sir. At the time, yes.
She actually gave her mother a written document giving Sabrina her permission to have the kids, correct?
Well, I've never seen a written document from Vember that stated that information.
Okay.
We had a safety plan for the kids to reside with Vember.
A safety plan placing them at grandma's?
Placing them at grandma's.
Okay, so Vember signed that.
She did.
Agreeing to them being there, and the department did not actually remove them until you took them from grandma on the 21st.
That's correct.
The only reason you're questioning Vember's statements regarding her employment was because of what she put in the application for appointment of counsel. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I understood basically from your testimony that you think Vember's trying. She stated that she's tired. There was a time when she made the statement that she just kind of felt like giving up.
That's correct.
But she did not ever make a statement that she was wanting to commit suicide. To your knowledge,
not to me directly. No, that would be with the St. Francis worker. She was more open talking to her. So that statement was made to Tori, not me.
Okay, object to the hearsay, Your Honor. She has never made a statement about wanting to commit suicide to you, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Why did she want to go to the pavilion? What did she tell you about that?
That day, Tori called me and she was with Vember at a visit that morning. She said that Vember was making some concerning comments about wanting to end her life and that her mental health is bad and that's why she was wanting to go into the pavilion. I told Vember, if that's something she's wanting to do, I'm on board with that. And it shows a strength that she's addressing her mental health.
But then she had difficulty getting off from work to go.
That's correct.
No, I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Yes, just briefly, Your Honor. Have you had any contact with Mr. Mathis?
I have, yes. I've been with Keon twice.
Okay, and he has not had, just to make it clear, he has not been at home for any of the absences of the children, correct?
That is correct.
And he has not been in a position to be assisting in getting the child to any, to get the baby to any visits or to the doctor, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and Keon has indicated to you that he's willing, if he were in a position, he's willing to do whatever he would have to do, and he would be willing to work any sort of safety plan if he were able to, correct?
No, he has not told me that. The only thing we discussed is paternity, and he also, and I asked about any next of kin, and he mentioned his mother to me. That's the only thing we discussed.
Have you asked him to do any services?
No.
Okay. All right. So he hasn't told you, no, I won't cooperate. You just haven't had that conversation. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure we got that clear. Okay. Pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Zavala?
Miss Archie, the kids were placed in a safety plan with grandmother, you said February 6th?
That's correct.
And at that time, there were fewer people in the home.
Yes.
And the plan, once they were placed there, was to have mom continue to be the source of transportation to both school and medical appointments, correct?
That's correct.
And mom was very aware of that.
Yes.
Okay. So the plan was they were going to be living with grandma. Mom was going to come every morning, take them to school, was going to come and take Isaiah or anybody else who needed to the doctor.
That's correct. That is what she agreed to.
Okay. Because grandma doesn't have her own source of transportation, or at least she didn't at that point.
That's correct.
So from February 6th up until the appointment on February 9th, 19th, excuse me. That's when we heard from Dr. Anderson that Isaiah began putting back on that weight.
That's correct.
So when Isaiah was with Vember, there was not the sufficient weight gain, but then with grandmother, there was.
Yes, that's correct.
And that February 19th appointment, it was set that Vember was going to show up and drive everybody to the appointment. What happened?
Correct. Grandmother ended up showing up about 10 minutes late, and she told me that I asked how did she get there, and she said her son James brought her.
So Vember knew about the appointment?
Yes, that's correct.
And in fact, we had a hearing the day before, and it was very much discussed about that appointment.
That's correct.
And Vember didn't make it there to drive them to the appointment.
That's correct.
And when the department places in this kind of family situation that was going on before the act of removal, when the department says, okay, we need these kids to go and stay with grandmother, is that a court order?
No, it isn't.
So if at any point Vember wanted to come and pick up the kids and take them, there was nothing in place that could stop that.
She did have to be supervised. So, but if she wanted to come get them, that's fine. But Sabrina would have to have gone with her, but she had to be supervised with the kids.
Okay. But there was no lasting court order in place at that point.
That's correct.
Okay. So one of the fears with that led to removal was we have no assurances that these kids will continue to get to school and will not just go back to Vember.
That's correct.
And in fact, did I understand you correctly that on February 21st, when the removal happened and you were looking for the kids to pick up, Makai was at school?
Yes.
Okay. But Kira wasn't?
No, Kira was at school. Both of those children were both at school on the day of removal.
Okay. And who were the kids that you said were with Vember on that day?
On that day, they were actually, it was Isaiah and Blaziana, and they were with Sabrina that day.
Okay. Okay. So you worked with Vember to try to keep the kids with family and said, hey, we can move to your to your mother, to their grandmother, and you can provide the transportation. But that didn't work.
Yes, that's correct.
I pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Sharp?
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Archie, during the course of your order to participate case and up to this point, have you asked mom to drug screen for you?
I have.
Has she done that?
She has not up until February. We have a negative UA on February the 19th.
Okay. How many screens did she miss prior to that?
Just January. Just January.
Okay. You did ask her one in December?
She was asked in December, and it was a negative as well. So we have a December and a February.
Okay. But mom missed the January?
That's correct.
did she no show, or did she give you an explanation why she didn't make that one?
She told me, she gave me an explanation. I can't exactly remember exactly what she said, but she did give me a reason as to why she did not test that day.
And did she tell you that ahead of time, or was it a no-show and then she told you later?
It was a no-show, then she told me.
Okay. Mr. Taylor asked you earlier about the statements, concerning statements that mom had made. You stated they weren't made to you, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But the St. Francis worker called you while she was with mom,
That's correct.
and she explained to you what was going on.
That's correct.
And then did you talk to Vember after that?
I did talk, well, I talked to her while I was on speaker. And yes, I was on speakerphone and I talked to Vember. And that's when I told her that I consider that being a strength of her wanting to go to the pavilion to address her mental health.
Okay. During that conversation, did mom deny making those statements to Tori?
She did not. She was actually crying that day.
Okay. And then y'all held a family group conference?
We did.
And did y'all discuss, did mom discuss having depression at that time with you?
She did. She had said that she did address her, say that she is having trouble with her mental health.
Okay. And at that time, did y'all also discuss with mom that it was not a weakness, but a strength for her to ask for help and to try to get these help?
Yes, we did.
And was that also when it was discussed to try to get to the pavilion and get her to help?
Yes, that was at that time. She agreed that she would go to TPC that Friday to get her mental health addressed.
Okay. And as you stated earlier, that still has not been completed.
As far to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Is it a concern that mom is admitting to having these issues, but is not following through on her help for that?
Yes, it is.
During the course of the case, and we didn't talk about this a while ago, during the course of your case, did you find out, or did mom tell you who the fathers of the children were?
She did. She admitted to that Trayvon was the father to Kira. Akai's father is unknown. Keon Mathis is the father to Isaiah, and Anthony Dunn is the father to Blaziana.
Okay. And Anthony Dunn is deceased.
Yes, that's correct.
And Mr. Mathis is currently incarcerated on an allegation of murder, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And is he charged with the alleged murder of Mr. Dunn?
I believe he is charged for that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Have you had any contact? I believe you stated this earlier, but just on the record, have you had any contact with Mr. Johnson?
I have not.
Okay. And we heard earlier, Ms. Jeffries has no contact information for him.
That's correct.
Okay. Has she stated does he live in Amarillo, or does she know where he lives?
She has no idea about his whereabouts.
Okay. All right. And you said that Mr. Mathis had given his mother's name?
He did.
Is that somebody that y'all have looked into at this point, or not yet?
I have not contacted her, but I did run her background in prior CPS history, so I did look into her. Yes.
Okay. Was there any concerning backgrounds on that?
No.
Okay. You mentioned, I think I heard you mention that he would also mentioning paternity. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. By that, do you mean he mentioned wanting paternity testing, or is he wanting to be adjudicated? What did he mention on that?
He's admitting to being the father to Isaiah.
Okay, he is admitting. Okay.
Yes.
So he was not asking you to have any paternity testing or anything done?
No, he wasn't.
Okay. All right. And due to an unknown father, not knowing where one father is, one being in jail and one being deceased, we don't have any course of action to place with any of those fathers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And out of the four alleged fathers, you have just Mr. Mathis has given his mother's name, and that's the only other family member you have.
That's correct.
Okay. Why was when the department removed and placed the children, why were children not placed back with grandmother?
Due to the living conditions, there was too many children in that household.
Okay. And you said living conditions, but it was the conditions of the home were fine, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
The home seemed to be clean and appropriate.
It was always clean and appropriate, yes.
Okay. It was just the situation of 16 people living in a 3-bedroom place.
That's correct.
Okay. Grandmother was doing a fair amount good job with the children, correct?
She was, yes.
Were they still having school issues?
They were, but they were trying to get the transportation situated. I worked with the transportation to try to get it set up. So there was a delay due to the lady having an illness. Vember did say that she would take the kids to school, but it ended up being James that was the one that was taking them to school instead of Vember.
Okay. So another one of the main concerns during for the removal was it was not mom doing what she was supposed to be doing.
That is correct.
She was not following through on transporting the children.
Yes, sir.
Not following through on her appointments.
Yes, sir.
And y'all were having constant issues of getting in touch with mom.
Yes. There have been moments where she'll just stop responding and go MIA. We weren't able to get a hold of her at all.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Taylor, any further questions?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. From the date of placement at grandma under the safety plan on February 6th to the date of removal on February the 21st, while Vember may not have done what you wanted her to with regard to services, she did not ever violate the service plan by trying or even attempting to take any of the children from grandmother, correct?
That's correct.
Or visit any of the children without being supervised, correct?
Yes, sir.
The children attended school as appropriate?
Yes. James was taking them to school, and then once transportation began, we actually got confirmation of transportation during Isaiah's appointment. When
Excuse me, non-responsive, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Almost sounded like maybe she wasn't clear about your question, Mr. Taylor, but I'll agree it was non-responsive, so you can go ahead and rephrase your question or try again.
From the time that Vember signed the safety plan, the children were placed with grandmother. That's February the 6th to February the 21st on date of removal. There have been no attendance problems at school. Is that correct?
That's correct.
When you removed the children, they were being fed and clothed and well cared for. And I believe you even mentioned Isaiah was happy. Is that correct?
On the day of the appointment, yes. Other than that,
oh, okay.
Yes.
And then when they were removed on the 21st, did they still appear to be well cared for and fed?
Yes.
And we've already heard from Dr. Anderson that she was very pleased with the weight gain that Isaiah was showing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the entire issue wasn't a fear that Vember would take the children from grandmother, because she had made no sign that she was going to since the day that you agreed to this safety plan placing them at grandmother's, correct?
Yes.
And you're showing February the 21st as date of removal, not February 6th. So it was Vember agreeing to that safety plan that put them at grandma's, correct?
Yes.
Because if she hadn't agreed to it, y'all would have removed the kids immediately. Right?
Yes.
So the overcrowded condition on the 21st is the only thing I've heard that justifies removal. Was it explained to you that that was a temporary situation that they intended to cure immediately?
No.
Are you aware that grandmother is not there in that location? She's in a new apartment with no one there except her and her older sister, Felicia Martinez?
If that's the case, that happened after the removal, not during.
Okay. Okay, but at the time of the removal, the apartment was too crowded, so that's why you took the kids.
That's correct. Along with the medical concerns.
the medical concerns that Dr. Anderson has already testified to were not a concern as of the 19th because grandmother was handling the situation appropriately. Is that correct?
Objection, Your Honor. I believe that's a misstatement. I don't think she said medical concerns are not an issue. I think she said the baby had made some improvements.
You're absolutely correct. I apologize for that, Mr. Trout. That Dr. Anderson has testified to, she was very pleased with the weight gain that Isaiah was showing in grandma's care. Correct?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Riley?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Zavala?
No further questions, Your Honor.
I do have one follow-up question, Your Honor. I need to clarify. Ms. Archie, at one point you testified that the two older children were appropriately at school on the date of removal, correct?
Yes, sir.
And at first you said the two younger children were with Vember, and then later I believe you testified that they were with Sabrina, or their grandmother.
I never said they were with Vember. When I did the removal, they were with grandmother.
Okay.
I removed them from grandmother's apartment.
They were with grandmother. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Just want to clarify that. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Anybody else have any further questions for Ms. Archie?
Real quick, Your Honor. Ms. Archie, do you have the school attendance records in front of you?
I can pull them up right now.
The exhibits?
I do now. Yes, sir.
Okay. On the last page of each,
Mm-hmm.
You said the children were placed with grandmother on the 6th, correct? In the safety plan?
Yes.
Okay. On the dates of the 7th, the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, are those showing as absences?
They are.
And so those were absences while children were in care of grandmother?
That's correct.
So in that first week or so, we did have issues with the children attending school.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody have further questions for Ms. Archie?
None
No,
for
Judge.
No, Your Honor.
All right then, Mr. Trout, any further witnesses?
I call Ms. Delgado, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna give everybody just a real short break before we start Ms. Delgado then, so everybody take just, and I mean like 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
And are you familiar with the case we're here on today?
Yes,
And you've been here through the testimony.
yes.
How are you familiar with the case on these 4 children?
I received an investigation on January 16th, 2025.
Okay. And what was that investigation or intake in response to?
There was concerns of medical neglect and physical neglect because Isaiah had missed the follow-up appointment after the hospital stay.
Okay. And what were your steps when you first got this case?
I do, my basic steps are to run background checks, look at the history, to familiarize myself with the family.
Okay. And were you able to make contact with mom?
Yes.
Okay. Was that initially, or did you have any issues getting in touch with her?
Initially, no, I didn't have issues, but I only had a 15-minute conversation with her because she had to go to work.
Okay. And did you discuss the issues of why you were had an investigation and what you were there about?
I did.
And how did that conversation go with mom?
I mean, it went well.
Moving forward through your investigation, how did that proceed? Did you have any issues getting in touch with mom down the road?
Yes. After the initial visit, I did have some issues. I had reached out to Miss Archie in trying to get some assistance to try and get in touch with Vember to have a deeper conversation about everything.
Did you have any conversations with mom about her services she was supposed to be working?
We touched base on it, but I didn't go into deep conversation about her services.
Okay. Did mom make any statements to you about why she was not participating at that time?
As far as the services, no, she did not provide an explanation to me as to why she wasn't.
Okay. Did you discuss with mom any of the issues of the children not making it to school?
I did.
And what was mom's response to that?
She was tired and struggled to get up in the morning.
Okay, so kind of same statement she made to Miss Archie.
Yes.
Did you have any, I guess, meaningful conversation with mom about Isaiah's appointments?
I did.
Okay. And how did those conversations go? What did y'all talk about?
She was very agreeable. I explained the importance that with him being so little and spending time in NICU, that the purpose of those medical appointments were to monitor him to make sure that he was growing and developing well, that they weren't meant to punish her or cause her distress, but they were meant for baby. And I told her as a mother, she needed to do better about making sure those appointments were being made.
Okay. And even after that conversation, was there a missed appointment?
Yes.
And you heard testimony earlier that even after that and after the court hearing in February, that mom was not the one who brought the child to the hospital.
That's
excuse me, to the appointment, not to the hospital.
That's correct.
Okay. That grandmother was the one who brought the child on the 19th.
Yes.
Okay. During your investigation, did you learn that the apartment had become substantially more crowded?
I did.
And did you have any conversations with the parties about that or with mom about that?
I did.
Okay. And what was y'all's conversation on that?
I did share concerns about the increase of amount of people that were in that apartment, but I did, on a positive note, say that the home was clean and appropriate. So that was a plus, but that it was just too many people in one apartment.
Normally in a case that you're working, if you try to do a safety plan, does the apartment allow that many people in a 3-bedroom apartment?
That question is hard to answer because in my 9 years of doing this job, I've never had a situation such as this.
Okay. Do y'all have standards on how many people can be living in a certain place when you place a child somewhere?
That's not relevant to foster care. I don't know of anything that's in black and white talking about the amount of people in a home.
Okay. All right.
Go
ahead.
The biggest concern I had was the particular family that had moved in, and one of the adults that was involved in that, and his reason why they were involved with the department would cause danger to Vember's children.
Okay. So the family that had moved in, the other people that had moved into the apartment, they had CPS history going on?
Yes, they had an active CPS case open.
Okay. And what kind of CPS case was that?
The concerns that the father of those children were actively involved with mom and the children, and he had stipulations with the courts saying that he was not allowed contact with mom or those children.
Okay. And were there concerns that he was possibly coming around?
That was a concern prior that led to the current case that family was involved in. And then when we learned about the family being with Sabrina and Vember's children, I expressed to Sabrina and Vember those concerns of him coming around and being around the children. They said that he hadn't been around.
Okay. All right. In a case where you're looking at a safety plan and placing children, and if you were working the case at the time, if there were people living in the home that had CPS history, would that house be available for the safety plan?
It depends. It's case by case.
Okay.
That's a hard question to provide a definitive answer to.
Okay. But during the case of this, when the safety plan was initiated, they weren't living there. So that was not a concern. But during the safety plan, about a week after, those people moved in.
That was my understanding, yes.
And then it became a concern.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Were you ever able to meet with, did you only meet with mom, or were you able to meet with any of the fathers?
I met with Keon Mathis at the jail. And then I'm the one who made contact with Mr. Harris at the CPS office the day of removal.
Okay. And had mom ever given you Mr. Harris's name?
No.
Okay. How did you said you made contact with him, but how did his name get involved with possibly being the father?
He was present at the CPS office when they were trying to figure out what was going on. And at that time, he had claimed to be the father to Blaziana and Isaiah, and that he wanted all the children placed with him.
Okay. Did mom state anything at that time about whether he was the father or not?
At that time, no, she was too upset, and I don't think she heard that conversation.
Okay. Did you have a conversation with Miss Jeffries at a later date?
Yes.
About him?
Yes.
And what was that conversation?
She denied Mr. Harris being the father. She doesn't know why he said those things, but she told me she believed it was so that he could gain possession of the children. And she confirmed that Anthony Dunn was the father to Blaziana. Keon Mathis is the father to Isaiah.
Okay. And mom stated that there's no way he's the father of the children, of any of them?
Yes, that's what she told me.
Okay. And he is pled in simply because he stated he believes he's the father.
Yes.
Okay. Was there any other concerning issues that came up during your investigation with mom?
One of my grandma did an amazing job when he gained those 2 pounds. It's actually 2.5 pounds that Isaiah had gained while she had him. As Miss Archie had testified, she actually helped her with the WIC paperwork. And all my understanding was all she had to do was answer the phone when WIC called so that we could get him on the 14E. Miss Archie had made attempts to try and circumvent that conversation with mom to try and get this child on 14E. But because Sabrina does not have legal custody of this child, and because we didn't have legal custody of this child, WIC wouldn't do anything without mom. And because mom was not consistent with communication, we weren't able to get that WIC settled so that this child could get that specialized formula to gain the weight that he needs to gain.
So it's a concern that we have a child with needing a special type of nourishment, and we couldn't get mom to cooperate to get that.
Correct.
Okay. The child did gain weight on a Similac formula, correct?
Similac sensitive.
Okay. And is the child currently, has the child gotten on 14E now? Do you know?
As of after the removal, I'm not sure. I did have conversations with mom at the initial visit, again, explaining what 14E was and its purpose, so that I didn't know if maybe she didn't understand it. So she could maybe grasp why everybody was pushing for it so hard. And she understood. And at my initial visit, she said she had plenty. But then I get a text message the very next day, which happened to be a Saturday. And she said they ran out of formula. So I had to go get Similac formula from the store to make sure this baby had some type of nutrition.
Okay. All right. And you said that those two conversations happened a day apart. She had plenty and then she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you today asking also that the court grant temporary managing conservatorship to the department?
Yes.
And for mom to work services and dads to work, once found, other dads to work what services they can?
Yes.
And you believe that's in the best interest of the children?
I do.
And is it mostly to watch for the to make sure the kids are going to school?
Part of it.
And to make sure that Isaiah's medical needs are being met?
Isaiah and Blaziana.
And for mom to get help with what she needs help with?
Yes.
And what she will be willing to avail herself to?
Yes.
And you believe that's not only in best interest of the kids, but in the best interest of the whole family at this time?
I do.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. You said you were here and heard all the testimony prior to yours today, correct?
Yes.
Were you actually the one who removed the children from grandmother on the 21st of February, or was it Miss Archie?
It was Miss Archie, but I did assist after she had taken the children.
And throughout Ms. Archie's testimony, in fact, all the witnesses' testimony up to this point, it wasn't until you testified that we heard something about a background history problem with one of the males in the house with grandmother. Is that correct?
That specific male was not in the house. He was the one that was involved with the family that had just moved into the home.
Okay. So it wasn't somebody in the home. It was somebody connected to the ones that moved in the home.
Yes.
Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. And when you got this intake, Mom, Vember Jeffries was already involved in an ongoing case with Roshonda Archie, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when you saw the children in the home with the large number of people in the apartment, I believe you said that the home was clean and well kept, and the children were all appropriately dressed and clean, and didn't see any problems with any of that, did you?
The physical conditions, no, there was no problems with the physical conditions of the apartment.
Okay. How about the care of the children? Were they clean?
The children appeared fine.
Okay. You said Mom said she was tired, and did you get the impression she just kind of overwhelmed?
Yes, I can. I think she's definitely overwhelmed with everything going on.
There was some mention earlier, I don't remember who, but some mention of a postpartum depression.
Yes, I believe Miss Archie had talked about postpartum depression for Mom.
From the time that the children were placed with grandmother under the safety plan on February 6th to the time of removal, is the only thing that changed the number of people in the apartment?
One of the things that changed.
Pardon?
That was one of the things that changed.
Okay, what else changed?
Like I had testified earlier, Sabrina doesn't have legal custody of the children. So her struggling to get that 14E for that baby is very difficult. And
okay,
if Mom,
let me interrupt you and talk about that just a minute. Dr. Anderson has testified, has she not, that the Isaiah was gaining weight appropriately. She was pleased with it, and none of that was on the 14E, was it?
No, that was on the Similac sensitive.
And she approved continued use of the Similac sensitive until such time as the 14E could be obtained. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Riley?
When you met with Keon, was he cooperative?
Yes.
Okay, and Keon was not you met with him in the jail, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, and so Keon has been in custody at the Potter County Jail throughout. In fact, he was there when Isaiah was born, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Right, and so he has not been the person directly responsible. He hasn't been able to be directly responsible for his child or any of the children. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and so did he answer all of the questions that you had?
He did.
For him? Okay. Did you ask him to be involved in any services or to engage in anything or to do anything for you?
I told him what could potentially be expected if and when he is released.
Okay. And did he indicate to you that he would be willing to do that if and when he's released?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness.
Ms. Bell?
Ms. Delgado, Sabrina, the grandmother, doesn't have her own transportation, correct?
As of the day of removal, yes.
Yes, she does not.
No, sorry, she has no transportation as of the day of removal, February 21st.
Okay. So I know that you weren't originally involved in the safety plan that put the kids there, but is it your understanding that part of that safety plan was that Vember was going to provide much, if not all, of the transportation?
That's correct.
So the issues with placement with grandmother are First, that she's got no legal custody and no ability to make decisions and get the care for these kids that she would need. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Without court intervention. Second, that she needs working transportation or a transportation plan that does not revolve around Vember.
That's correct.
And then she needs to be in a place with fewer people and specific rules about which people can be around those kids.
That's correct.
If those things were addressed, is it possible that grandmother might be a good placement for the kids?
Yes.
I pass the witness.
Okay. Mr. Trout, anything further?
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Anybody else have any other questions for Ms. Delgado?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right then. Mr. Trout, any further witnesses or do you rest?
Department rest, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to call Sabrina Jeffries.
Okay. You may proceed, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, your name is Sabrina Jeffries,
Yes, sir.
and you are the mother of Vember Jeffries, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the grandmother of the children that we've been talking about in this case. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Where are you living right now?
I live at 12.
And is that a different address from the apartment you were in on February the 21st when the children were removed?
Yes, sir.
Who is in your current residence with you?
My oldest sister, Felicia Mosley.
Felicia Mosley. I'm so sorry I misstated earlier. Felicia Mosley. And you said she's your older sister?
Yes, sir.
Is she in good health?
Yes, sir.
And is anyone else in that apartment with you or in that address with you?
In that home, no, it's just me and my sister.
Is it a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
It's a house, okay. And are you willing for the department to come visit you and check that place out and make sure it's appropriate?
Yes, sir.
On the day of, you were part of signing the safety plan on February 6th, were you not?
I did not sign the safety plan on February the 6th. I signed it on February the 7th of 2025.
Okay, all right, thank you. You were a party to that agreement.
Yes, sir.
And since that date, has Vember attempted to take the children away from you?
No, sir.
So up until the 21st when the department took them, correct?
Up until the 21st when they came and removed the children out of my care, my daughter never came and tried to take the kids at any time.
Okay, or made any verbal statements indicating that she was going to or wanted to or intended to?
No, sir, she didn't.
Okay. And regardless of whether you were in that apartment or elsewhere, have you helped to make sure that the children were clean and well dressed?
Yes, sir, I did.
And well fed?
Yes, sir.
Now, after the safety plan was signed on February the 6th, did you take full responsibility for seeing to it that Isaiah made it to his appointments?
Yes, sir, I did. After I signed the safety plan on February the 7th, I took into my care of making sure that my grandson Isaiah made it to his doctor's appointment.
Okay. And that he got fed properly?
Yes, sir.
And if the children were returned to you, you would continue to do that?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, John.
Mr. Trout, any questions?
Just a couple, Your Honor. Ms. Sabrina, at the address you live at, you said it's just you and your sister.
Yes, sir.
Is it a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom? What type of house is it?
It is a 2-bedroom.
Okay. I'm assuming you live in one room, your sister lives in another.
Yes, sir.
If the children were to be placed in the home with you, what rooms would they have? Where would they stay?
They would stay in the room that I am in. I will go to the living room because the living room has a let out couch, which turns into a bed.
Okay, so you can turn it into kind of a 3-bedroom with a pull-out couch.
Yes.
Do you have all the appropriate beddings, cribs, everything for the children?
Yes. Isaiah still has his little playpen that he was in when they had assigned him into my care through the safety plan. Blaziana has her little toddler bed, and Kiara and Makai has another bed, a twin bed that we can put in the room so they can have their own bed.
When the children were in your care, were you having issues being able to get the formula the doctor had ordered?
The formula is you talking about the 14?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the 14, when he got out the hospital from when he was born, he was put on a different milk. He was not on the 14 when he got out the hospital when he was born. But when he was unresponsive, they put him on the 14. He came home with, I think, about 4 or 5 little cartons of milk like they have at the school when the kids get milk in a little small carton. He had about 5 of those. But once he ran out, we had got in contact with the doctor, and the doctor put him on the Similac 360.
Okay. But y'all weren't able to get a hold of what the doctor had ordered, correct?
No, we was not able to get the 14.
And you're not able to, without any legal custody, you're not able with the WIC program or anything to be able to get that. Is that correct?
With the WIC program, no, I'm not able to get that. But the temporary custody papers that I have signed, I am able to get that. But Rashonda was the one that went up there to see if she could get it. I was not able to go up there because she said she was going up there. She said it was too cold that day. She did not want Isaiah back out in the weather because due to him still having a little bit of his sickness. So she took me and Isaiah back to the apartment, which was 1223 apartment 2, South Robert Street. So she went to the WIC office. I didn't.
Okay. But you're saying you could have gotten it?
Yes, I could have gotten it. But Rashonda said she was going up there to see if she could get it.
Okay. And how do you, if you didn't go up there to get it, how do you know you could have gotten it?
Because of the paperwork of where I have temporary custody of Isaiah, Blaziana, Kiara, and Makai.
You talking about the safety plan?
No, I'm talking about the paperwork that I have as temporary custody that my daughter gave me temporary custody of the kids on February the 5th.
Okay. How did that take place? And why was that never turned over to the department?
When I had told Rashonda about my daughter giving me temporary custody of the kids, she told me, no, because it would cause the case to be closed if she gave me temporary custody of the kids. She said she was going to do a safety plan. And she came back on the 7th of February and brought me paperwork to sign. And that's when I signed the safety plan on February the 7th. I also stated to Ashley at the Department of the Children's, I guess it's the
Objection, Your Honor. The question was, it was non-responsive. The question was why she never turned over the paperwork to the department.
Your Honor.
Okay. Hang on just a minute. Just kind of listen carefully to what exactly he's asking for, but so I'll sustain the objection. Just why don't you ask a question again, Mr. Truck?
Yes, ma'am. You said that your daughter had signed over custody of the kids on February 5th.
Yes.
Okay. Earlier, Miss Archie's already testified that she's never seen any of that paperwork. So the question is, why was that paperwork never given to the department?
She never asked for the paperwork.
Did you tell her you had it?
I told Rashonda that I had the paperwork.
Okay. And you're aware that at that time there was already an open legal case as to the children, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the mom was already ordered to participate during a court proceeding at that time.
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. During your safety plans, was Vember helping with the transportation like she was supposed to?
Yes, she helped with the transportation. After I talked to Rashonda about getting transportation for the kids to get back and forth to school, I sent Rashonda numbers of text messages and asking her about the kids getting on the school bus, because that's what Rashonda was stating to me, that she was going to make sure that the kids had transportation to get back and forth to school. Once we talked to my daughter had recently got a car, and she said, well, I could take the kids to school until the bus is able to pick them up. And my daughter took the kids to the school.
Okay. We heard testimony earlier that it was your son that was taking the kids to the school, not Vember.
My son, James Jeffries, never did take the kids to school.
Okay. And after they were placed with you on the 6th, they missed about 6 or 7 days of school after that. What was that reason?
That was due to the fact that we was waiting on Rashonda to get in contact with the bus bond. And I think her name was Kaylee or Kyla. I can't pronounce her name. She was waiting on her to respond back to the kids getting on the bus. So Rashonda talked to me and sent me text message stating that the kids' absence was going to be excused due to the fact that they were still working on them getting transportation.
Okay. You understand, even though if Rashonda's working on trying to get buses set up, y'all are still responsible for getting the kids to school.
I understand that. That's why I said when my daughter had got her car on the 12th or the 11th of February.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Sustained.
Who is on the apartment, the house you're living in now? Are y'all are renting it?
You talking about the house on Highland?
The one you're living in currently? Yes, ma'am.
My sister Felisa Mosley is on the lease.
Okay. And is this did she just move into it or has she been living there?
This has been living there.
Okay. What type of, is she got year lease, month-to-month lease? What type of leases does she have? Do you know?
That is to my understanding. I could not say that because I do not know that information.
Okay. Do you know, do you know if it would be a violation of the lease for yourself and 4 children to move into that home?
I do not, I cannot answer that question because I do not know that information.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Riley, any questions?
Question.
Ms. Zavala?
Sabrina, my name's Stacy and we've met before, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I came out to the house February 14th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with this new living arrangement, how would, if the kids were placed with you, what would the transportation situation look like?
I will use my daughter's car to get Kiara and Makai back and forth to school. And if they have medicals that they need to go to their doctor's appointment, I would take them myself.
So you mean Vember's car?
Yes, ma'am.
So Vember's going to give you her car and it will now be your car?
No, she's going to allow me to use it when I need to do things for the children.
So Vember's going to bring it to you?
Yes, she's going to provide me with the transportation to take the kids to school. If they're not able to get on the bus and I have to take them to school, I would use the car to take them to school. If they have to go to their doctor's appointment, I would use the car to take them to their doctor's appointment.
Okay. So you've been sitting here throughout this hearing and
Yeah.
Have you heard the multiple numbers of appointments that Vember has missed for both herself and the kids?
Yes, I have heard it.
Okay, so why is it that you think she'll now be responsible enough to bring you the car each time you need it?
Because the reason why I believe that she would do that, because I see what my daughter is doing now. I see what she has been accomplishing. But before then, she didn't have no car. So that's one reason why she was not able to make appointments, because she didn't have the transportation.
Okay. And what's the backup plan for if Vember doesn't show up?
The backup plan, if she doesn't show up, then I will have my son James to take me and the kids.
Would the older kids go back to the school they were at before?
I would like for them to do that, but if they get placed in my care and my custody, I would have them to go to the school that's closest to Highland, where I live at. Or either they'll probably go to Real Rogers School because that's closest to where I live at.
And does it concern you that the kids missed almost exactly half of the entire school year?
Yes, it concerns me.
Okay.
About school.
So is it important that the kids get to school even if bus isn't set up?
Yes, it's very important.
I pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe we heard testimony that Vember did not have a working car until somewhere around February 11. Is that your understanding also?
Yes,
But she does now have a working car,
yes,
and that's as of somewhere around the 11th of February.
yes, sir.
I believe I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Stroud, anything further?
Pardon? Yes, I would call my client Vember Jeffries.
Okay, let me just make sure. Wait, nobody else had any
I'm
questions?
sorry. I apologize. I jumped the gun.
I have no further questions, John.
Ms. Riley, anything further?
No.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
I have just a few follow-ups. Sabrina, when I talked with you on the 14th, the plan was for that very important doctor's appointment on the 19th that Vember was going to come and pick you up, correct?
Yes, Vember was supposed to come pick me up, but Vember had got sick with bronchitis.
Okay. So I pass the witness.
All right, anybody else have any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, I would call Vember Jeffries.
All right, Ms. Jeffries?
Thank you. Vember, from the very first time we talked and numerous times since, you've emphasized to me that you did not feel like you were a bad mother. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you currently have an appointment to go to TPC?
Yes, sir.
That's at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
That's correct?
Yes.
That's for your evaluation?
Yes, sir.
And do you have good intentions to go ahead and comply with all of the service requirements that the department is asking of you?
Yes, sir.
Are you still suffering some significant symptoms from your postpartum depression or whatever it is that's causing you to feel overwhelmed and tired all the time?
No, and on that postpartum depression, I feel like how can they say that I have postpartum depression? They're not no doctor. The doctor has not diagnosed me with postpartum depression. I've had 4 kids. I would know when I'm having postpartum depression, and I'm not dealing with postpartum depression.
Okay, so what medication are you on?
I don't take any medication. Only medication I do take is iron pills due to me being anemic.
Okay, are you still feeling tired all the time like you were?
No, sir.
Okay, so things are improving for you.
Yes, sir.
And I believe you did you did show up for and give drug tests in December and then again in February?
Yes, sir.
And those were negative.
Yes, sir.
And was it a separate paper, separate and apart from the safety plan, that gave custody from you to, or gave possession, care and control, however you want to word it, from you to your mother, Sabrina?
My mother was given temporary custody of my children the day before the safety plan was put into place.
So she testified it was on February the 5th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of paper was that? Is that something that you hand wrote?
We had it drawn up and was notarized and everything. So.
Okay. Did you keep a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have it there with you?
Yes, sir.
Can you show it on screen? Hold it up.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. And what does it say at the top?
It says,
Your Honor, I'd object to it. I don't have a copy of this and can't read what that piece of paper said from her holding it in front of the camera. You're muted, Judge.
You're muted, Judge. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I can't see it. If if we had a way to screen share it, that'd be one thing, but there's no way to do that without it being uploaded. Mr. Taylor, do you have a copy of it?
I do not, Your Honor. That's why I was asking her to read from it.
Is there a way that I can send it to my lawyer, the attorney's Gmail?
Well, you can do that, or I guess she can read it. All right.
Okay.
I don't know how you could email it to me without downloading it first, scanning it and downloading it. I'm not sure you're able to do that.
Okay.
So again, I'll ask you, what's the title to it at the top?
It says temporary custody agreement.
Okay, and it didn't look very long, maybe one very large paragraph. Can you read it for me, please?
Yes, sir. It says, I, Vember Jeffries, the custodial parent of the following children, on February the 5th, 2025, I, Vember Jeffries, place my children in the custody to my mother, Sabrina Louise Jeffries, until I am able and stable to provide a home for my children and to better my physical health. I do hereby give temporary custody to Sabrina Louise Jeffries, my mother, and the grandmother of my children, Kiera Jeffries. I currently reside in Miss Sabrina Jeffries currently resides at. I further give permission for Miss Jeffries, my mother, to care for the children in her home and to apply for consent to or otherwise obtain any medical treatment or any economical, social, education, or other services that the children may need.
And where did you get that language, that particular piece of paper?
What do you mean by that?
Well, did you type it out yourself or did you get it from someone?
It was typed up.
Okay. And was there a location that you got it from? Did you go online to get it or did you get it from someone?
It was online. We got the paper, the custodial paper from online, but it was typed up.
And when you signed that on, I believe you read the 6th, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Was that before or after you had signed the safety plan on the 6th?
I did not sign the safety plan until we had a family meeting. So it was after my mother had signed. She signed the safety plan before I did.
Okay, I believe she testified she signed it on the 7th.
Yes, and I signed it on a later date. I'm not sure what day it was, but we had I had a meeting with the CPS, and that's when I signed.
I had understood
Oh,
testimony.
I signed on the 12th, February the 12th.
Okay. I had understood earlier from one of the witnesses' testimony that safety plan was dated the 6th. But your mother has testified she signed it on the 7th, and you're saying you signed it on the 12th.
Yes, sir.
And the children were not removed from your mother until the 21st, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Trout?
Ms. Jeffries, y'all had that drawn up on the 5th. Did you turn that over to the department?
No, my mother had a paper of it. Due to my knowledge, Rashonda, my mother tell Rashonda, but I don't.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive. I believe she answered it with her first statement.
I'll sustain.
And up until today, this is the first any of us have heard that y'all did a custodial agreement, correct?
No, they already knew about it, but they never wanted the paper or anything like that.
Okay. You never showed them the paperwork or gave it to them.
And they never asked for it either.
Now you stated at the group conference on February 12th, did you admit to having some depression at that time?
Yes, I admitted to being depressed. Yes.
Okay. And are you getting any help with that?
I go through my mother, she has a women's ministry as well as her fiance, and I get help with that. It's a Christian, get help with the church.
And you said you have a appointment with TPC tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
How come you missed your first assessment on this?
The first assessment, I believe I had got called to work. I'm not really sure. I can't be specific. It was just a lot going on at that time, so I'm not really for sure.
Okay. You understood before you had a vehicle that you had options for transportation through the department?
Yes.
Did you ever, I mean, a couple of times, but did you try to avail yourself of that transportation throughout your case?
May I ask, what do you mean by that?
Did you take advantage of that transportation? You missed a lot of appointments with the child, doctor's appointment stuff, and it's all been stated through the testimony that it was due to transportation issues mostly. But you were aware you had options through the department to get the child to where it needed to be.
Yes, on when the case first opened and my son had his very first appointment, I did reach out, but Rashonda was not my caseworker at the time. I believe I had another caseworker. I can't think of her name right now, but I did reach out to her, and I have this, and she never came through.
But throughout your case, you missed appointments, but you had options for transportation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Riley?
No questions.
All right, Ms. Ball.
Ms. Jeffries, were you ever able to go over to the apartment on Robert Street to help transport your children anywhere?
Yes, ma'am.
And when was that?
I believe, I'm not sure of the date, but I did take them to school. But that was after the safety plan was put into place.
Okay, so I understand after the safety plan was put in place, the kids missed about 6 or 7 days of school, and then sometime after that, you got a car, and so you took them then?
Yes, ma'am. I did not get a car until the 11th of February. So I had told them in the meeting that I did have transportation and was able to take them to school, but I still had to have my mother with me to take them to school.
Okay. So do we think the time you were transporting them from the Roberts address was like 13th, 14th
Yes,
February?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then when the kids were removed on the 21st, they were removed from that Roberts apartment, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that was February 21st.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's where your mom was living at the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why would documents that were drafted on February 5th include the Highland Street address that your mom hadn't even moved to?
My mother, she was in the process of already moving. It just wasn't, she just didn't get a chance to move at the time.
Yes, witness.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, back to you. And you're muted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't realize I was muted. Vember, where are you working?
I work at Amazon.
At Amazon. And what are your hours?
I work 40 hours a week.
40 hours a week, not a month.
Yes.
And what days do you work?
I work Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. And then sometimes I get overtime, so I'll end up working a Saturday or a Sunday.
So the 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, that you work to get 40 hours a week, you must be working 10 hours a day each of those days? Is that correct?
10 hours a day.
Okay. So was it a mistake that caused you to put on your application for court-appointed attorney that you were working 10 hours a week
I'm
40 hours.
trying my best.
I'm sorry, not 10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours, 10 hours a week. Wrote down what that was, and
It was a mistake. Like I said, I had a lot on my mind just due to them removing my children. So I was trying my best to fill out the paperwork, and I may have wrote it wrong.
testimony was that it said 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month. But you're testifying today that was inaccurate, and it's actually 10 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And I believe you've already said it wasn't until around February 11 that you actually got a working car.
Yes, sir.
All right, nothing further, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, any other questions for Ms. Jeffries?
Yeah, nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Taylor, do you have any other witnesses?
And no further witnesses. I rest.
Okay. All right, Ms. Riley.
I do not have any witnesses, and I would rest.
Very good. Ms. Zabala, any witnesses to call today?
No witnesses, Your Honor. I rest.
All right, Ms. Zabala, do you have a recommendation to make?
I do. I do believe it's in all the children's best interest to remain in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department. I am not opposed to looking at a home study of grandmother's new location. And if there's a transportation plan in place in terms of possible placement with grandmother. However, these older kids have already missed a half a year of school. Makai tells me he loves math when he gets to go. They want to go to school, they want to be there, and Isaiah doesn't have any leeway in terms of his health stuff. We've got to make sure that he stays above that line. So it may be that grandmother could be an appropriate placement, but under the temporary managing conservatorship of the department.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ball.
Will the court briefly hear argument?
I will.
Thank you. Your Honor, clearly this is an adversary hearing, and what the court has to find is that there were justification for removal at the time of removal. All of the testimony indicates that Vember had placed these kids with her grandmother and never violated the safety plan, and that the kids were definitely being well cared for. Even Isaiah was gaining weight, and Dr. Anderson was pleased with it. There was no justification for removal of these children on the 21st. And I said I would keep it brief, so that's my argument, Your Honor.
Sir, Ms. Riley, any argument?
Judge, I would rest on the record.
All right, Mr. Trout.
Your Honor, I believe that there was justification for the removal of the children. Nobody knew, nobody has still seen any care custody control that mom did. As Ms. Zavala pointed out, the address is 20 days, supposedly 20 days prior to when the grandmother even lived at that address. Mom did not work with the department as far as her prior case with the order to participate. She had missed her drug screen in January. She had not followed up on her appointments. She had not followed up with the child's appointments for his medical needs, and the child ended up hospitalized at one point during this case. And then still sickness after that, and mom still missed visits. Even after the court hearing, and when mom knew she was supposed to take the child to the hospital, grandmother was the one who took the child to the hospital. We filed for removal of the children from mom. Grandmother was living in way too crowded of an apartment for these children. If she is in an appropriate housing now and can stay there, as testimony stated with grandmother or from grandmother, she is not aware if she can even be living in that house or if the children can move into that house under the lease. Perfectly happy with a home study to be run on that. I think grandmother has been appropriate, and I think that she did do her best to take care of the children. However, it is the mother's children, and that is who the children were removed from. we did not file for removal against the grandmother. It's a removal against the mother who was not taking care of her children appropriately. Most of her appointments and everything seems to have been great with mom now. Of course, that all happened after the removal because she never complied with any of the order to participate. So we would ask that the children remain in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department, and for mom to work services, and would be happy to look at a home study on grandmother if under the lease she is allowed to do that. Thank you, Honor.
All right, Ms. Vala, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Unfortunately, at this time, I do find the evidence is sufficient to name the department as the temporary managing conservator of children. The lack of progress that had been made in the underlying TFFS case, the absentee nature of mom's involvement at the time of removal. And in fact, the day before that occurred, we had a hearing and I expressed grave concern about the health and safety of in particular Isaiah at that moment. The children's absence from school for 50% of the school year is absolutely unexcusable. I mean, even the ones that are called excused absences, even taking that into account, the number of unexcused absences is absolutely appalling. And, you know, my concern is that it may have put these kids really behind in school. So I think we need really close eyes on those older children to make sure that they're getting caught up educationally. I will find that there would be a continuing danger to return the children home to the mother today. And in fact, it's impossible to return the children to any of the fathers at this time. I will expect parents to work services. Obviously, anything that mom has successfully completed in the underlying TFF case, she's going to be given credit for that. But we just have got to make more progress with respect to stability. I'm not going to order any child support or medical support at this time. And I am fine with ordering an expedited home study on the maternal grandmother. Have the similar concerns just about the lease and what that may do to us. But, you know, I think the problem was not so much with grandmother and the care that she was providing. It was just, there were just too many people in a home. And, you know, there were transportation problems, obviously, because we had absences from school. We had a near missed medical appointment again. So, you know, but I'm willing to take a look at her current situation. So, all right, then I will see everybody back for our status hearing on April 22nd of 2025. That's on a 9 o'clock docket.
Your Honor, if I
Yes.
may ask you to adjust that date just a little, I'm in court in Oldham County all day that day, the 22nd.
I don't know about, you know, as far as our other deadlines and everything, I don't know, you know, we've got so many people involved. Can you have somebody stand in for you that day?
Well, it's done been bumped 3 times to get it to April 22nd. I can certainly try.
Yeah, if you could have somebody, it's a status hearing, you know, if you could have somebody cover, or I'm happy, you know, Mr. Taylor, if you want to submit a written report, you know, you wouldn't be present for your client, but as we all know, you know, it's pretty straightforward what's going to happen at that status hearing. So I just think we've got so many people involved, it's going to be really difficult to try to move that.
Even a day or two, but I understand.
I've got 9 other counties to schedule around, and so it's just really difficult.
Thank you.
So I'm going to leave it scheduled on the 22nd, and it's either try to find somebody to stand in, or if you want to file a written report, I'll be happy to accept that.
Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate everybody. Thank you all very much. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Archie or Miss Doucette, if either one of you could send me grandmother's full name and the address so I can get an order for the homestead, expedited home study.
Okay.
If y'all just email it over to me.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.